A lot of us think that we're people pleasers because, of course, who doesn't want to please people? But these are the 7 traits that prove that you are truly a chronic people pleaser, and it's probably affecting many areas of your life. I often have people coming to me asking, like, why do I do this? Why do I always put other people first? Why do I always put people before me? Why do I feel the need to do that? In the video today, I'm going to talk about these common traits because they also go to some of the deeper reasons that we do this. And understanding where you fall in this spectrum can help you begin to set healthier boundaries. Oh, and also I did record a video on how to break these habits in more detail, and we'll link that at the end. And a phrase that I love is you can't work on what you don't know. You can't fix what you're not aware of, right? So awareness, very key. So if you're new to my channel, my name is Barbara. I was a psychotherapist for over 20 years. I've worked with tons of people pleasers, worked with tons of people, helping them set healthier boundaries and live healthier lives. And I'm now an online coach with online programs and this YouTube channel. If you do enjoy this video, please do hit that like button and subscribe. All right, let's get into the topic. Sign number 1. You have a hard time making decisions. People pleasers can really struggle with decision making because it's always hard to know, like, we can't really make other people happy all the time, right? And we can't really please them, but we're always trying to. So therefore it's like, oh, should I do this or should I do that? Or we just like get stuck in this analysis paralysis around decisions, looping through the thoughts of what is it I really want? Well, should I do what I want? Is it selfish to do what I want? Maybe I need to do what they want. And this is also tied to not being in touch with your own values, because obviously if you're always focused on pleasing others, you may not even spend much time thinking about what is it I want, right? And the other thing that falls into place here is the indecision can be tied to being afraid to disappoint somebody. So I worked with somebody whose partner was already retired and they were not, and they did need to keep their job. And they also had a lot going on in their family. And their partner invited them on a really wonderful trip, truly a wonderful trip. And she wanted to go on this trip. But she also knew that right now, for her, it made a lot more sense to stay back and focus right now on the project she had at work and on some of the issues going on in her family system. And that piece wasn't people-pleasing. That was really a balancing of what is it I really need to prioritize right now for my own, mental health, mental well-being. And she knew that for her, she really did need to keep that as a priority. But she was so afraid of disappointing her partner that she kind of kept putting off the decision. She kept going back and forth. She kept telling him, well, maybe, not sure, maybe. And she was stressing herself out, working really, really long hours and just really trapped. And so I said to her, so disappointing your partner is worse than you being an anxious mess. And she kind of laughed and she was like, well, no. And I'm like, it's okay. Sometimes we disappoint people. People can handle disappointment. So that's just something to keep in mind, to think about if you're having trouble making decisions. Is this about who you're disappointing? Sign number 2 is low self-esteem. You really feel like your needs, wants, and opinions don't really matter. And this can manifest in the smallest of ways, right? Like maybe you're talking with people who really, really love this TV show that you kind of hated, but you say to them, oh yeah, I loved it, so you go along, you change your opinion based on what other people think. Now, over time, this is where you become very disconnected from what do you actually like? What do you actually want? You might even really not know, who am I? Who am I at all? Don't even know who I am because I haven't spent the time really thinking about what I want, need, my own values. The other piece here is if you can't state what it is you like or want, even those people in your life who would like to please you, right? Who would like there to be a balance in the pleasing? They can't because they don't know, because you don't say it. Number 3, constant exhaustion. Keeping other people happy is exhausting. It's also, in fact, impossible. We can't do it. It is not possible. But we just keep running and running and running to try to do it. So the video I shot last week that's out, and we'll link at the end here, talking about how to get over this, because this is a health issue, right? If you're totally stressed out and exhausted all the time, this isn't healthy for you. It's not healthy for your body. And definitely, it's no fun. All right, I think we're up to number 4, high levels of anxiety. Always having a high level of anxiety is one of the traits of chronic people pleasers, because you're always anxious. You are trying to do something that's not possible. When we are trying to control the uncontrollable, that's what anxiety is about. You know, a little bit of productive worry here or there. If there's something I can actually do, I actually know how to achieve this thing, I know how to get it done, no problem. But the anxiety that really goes over and over and over is about those things we can't control. And we can't control other people's emotions. We can't make everybody like us. And we can't make everybody happy. Number 5, fearing rejection. So this fear of rejection with people who seriously, chronically people please really goes to a level of feeling unsafe if other people don't like them. So if you have this feeling of like, well, if everybody else doesn't like me, I'm in danger, that's something to be super aware of and begin to think through really what's the problem here. Now, as I said to start, lots of people think they're people pleasers because we all want everybody to like us. Who wouldn't want everybody to like us? But when it feels like a life or death issue, if they like us or not, that's probably tied to some old stuff, some stuff from childhood. And it's not true today. If you are in a group of people and overall they don't really like you, okay, you can find another group. Now, I know this is like so hard to bring in. When I've worked with people on this, they look at me like I am out of my mind to say that. But really, if somebody else doesn't like you, oh well, not everybody likes ice cream, right? Like, you could have your absolute favorite food and not everybody likes it, and you may not understand it, but we vary. So we're just not going to be everybody's cup of tea, right? Sign number 6, lack of clarity about your own goals. So this is obviously tied to knowing who you are and what your values are. But if your focus is always external, what's going to make that person happy? What's going to make that group of people happy? What's going to make all these people like me? What is it I want? What are my goals, right? So often people pleasers will end up feeling at a certain point in their life like, I'm letting life slide by, not going for what I want, not going for my goals. And number 7, feeling resentful. Now, I think that resentment is one of the most toxic emotions. Resentment, I once heard it described as resentment is like taking acid, but hoping it kills the other person or hurts the other person, right? Resentment eats away at us. And when we are constantly doing things for other people and it's not reciprocated, it's very natural to get resentful. It's like, well, I do all this for them and they never do it for me. And resentment is this low-level, simmering kind of anger feeling. And it's very toxic. And what does it really do? It makes us unhappy. So figuring out what you can do to not feel resentful. Everybody who feels resentful, it's like they want the other people to do something differently so they don't feel resentful, but that's not what happens. That's not how we can be empowered to change our lives. So I wish I could give you a 30-second answer on how to overcome people pleasing, how to change all these habits. A lot of people want that these days, but it's just not possible. And given you're still listening to this video at this point, you know that, which is great, because changing these habits, changing this approach to the world takes deeper work. Developing a sense of your own value, your own self-worth is not easy, but it is doable. And that is the way to overcome chronic people pleasing. I don't offer one-to-one therapy anymore, but I do have an online program on boundaries that's really targeted to people pleasers, codependents, empaths, people with a lot of empathy who spend a lot of time focusing on others. It brings in all these common struggles and ways to overcome them step by step. I'm going to link it below. I would love to see you get on the path to really loving yourself, to real self-love, a feeling of self-worth, healthier relationships, healthier boundaries. The course is way beyond an instruction booklet. It's really about going to those deep issues. It guides you to build self-esteem, understand your own value, learn assertive communication so you can speak up and express your opinions, which are worthwhile, your desires, which are very important. So check it out, and I will see you next week.